Hey guys, welcome to the build series of my version of the Fallout terminal. Have fun while watching. At first I bought this laptop as a broken unit because the battery was dead. In my case this was not important because the terminal would sit on my desk anyway. I then started opening the laptop to get to the motherboard and its other components. The same happened to the screen assembly to get access to the Wi-Fi antenna. After removing the components, I started scaling the terminal's frame based on some drawings I was able to find on the internet and the model of Fallout 4's terminal. With that info, I started building a cardboard model to see how the form factor would be. After that I started 3D printing the curved edge on the terminal's front. There are two versions of them because I had to change the way of mounting them to the rest of the terminal. All 3D prints in this project are made from PLA. I have to say I'm very happy with how this turned out till now. And it's honestly much bigger than I expected it to be. Now I was able to build the real terminal plates out of PVC foam sheet, in German PVC Schaumplatten. Please correct me on that if that's the wrong translation. The material is great because you can cut it with an X-Acto knife fairly easily. Once that was done, all the curves were filed and sanded to get a pretty smooth finish. After the back plate and the side plates were done, I cut two pieces of angle iron to size, center punched them, and drilled some holes. These parts connect the ground plate to the side plates. The ground plate is made of a tougher material and has to be cut with a jigsaw. Also the metal angles for the back plate are mounted in this stage. And for a better understanding, this is what it looks like. The white frame you can see in this shot has the same form as the back plate. To get the curves on the upper side of the side plates done, I just heated the material up and bent it into shape. It just was necessary to hold it tight via the clamps while cooling down. Now the 3D printed parts were added. Here you can see the old versus the new version. As bolts I used lens head screws, in German Linsenkopfschrauben. Now it was time to make the backplate and the lid on top. Therefore I also cut the rough shape with an X-Acto knife and filed a little on the details, like the ventilation slots. I had to change the original layout of the terminal to make the case work as intended, and that's why the ventilation slots are not the same as at the original terminal. While test fitting, I noticed that there was a gap between the side plates and the back plate, so I 3D printed these black angled pieces and glued them on the side plates with polyurethane glue. Then I just drilled the hole pattern of the angle to the back plate. Now I was able to clamp the frame pieces tightly together and I got rid of the gap. The trickiest part was building the front plate. It has a variety of angles and rounded edges. I started by making a 3D model of this part and dividing it into 5 different pieces. 3 of these pieces are for the big curve in the middle. They are going to be 3D printed. Also there is a plate for the keyboard and a screen plate. And here you can see the big curve of the front plate. In the middle there is the hole for the holotape deck and there is the speaker grill. The holotape deck consists of 3 different parts and a USB hub. The USB hub is going to sit in this adapter plate part. You can see the ports just fit inside these holes. And this plate is going to be glued onto the holotape deck holder, which has a little hinge mechanism just like old cassette decks used to have. And this whole thing slides perfectly into the big curved part you saw earlier. You may notice that the frame on the real terminal is much thicker than mine. To get that done, I cut out some walking stick shaped pieces and glued them together. By the way, don't use a hot glue gun for something like that, cause the glue is way too weak for an application like this. Then I also glued them onto the edges of the plates and had to grind them into shape. With this method, the whole surface is full of gaps and holes. They were just closed by using some filler, normally used in car repairs. After that I had to grind again until I got a smooth surface. As you can see, now it looks much more like the original than before. This was it for part 1. Part 2 will be mainly focused on the involved electronics, some painting, and putting all pieces together. Thanks a lot for watching.